aside right now, or you're gonna pay yearly, when you gotta do a lease purchase, you're gonna pay one way or another, so however you wanna do it, do
Right,
it.
but I'm just saying, why all of a sudden is the amount being changed from
It's what we,
20,000 a
it's
year?
what came up within the capital, when I did the capital improvements, that's okay, if you
Yeah, I
wanna
know,
put 20 in it,
but,
do it.
but it went from a 10-year plan to an 8-year plan.
Yeah,
So now you're saying, well, this truck is not gonna last another,
actually, you know, Ted, I think the truck will last longer, but if
Okay.
we don't start doing something to it, putting some money aside, or start thinking, you know, I personally, this year, I would've liked, I don't wanna disagree with you, Brian, but
You're welcome to.
you should've come and got me when you wanted to look at the truck, and I would point some of the rot that started on it, in places the issue of paint. Personally, I would like to see it not put anything in the capital reserve this year, and take care of painting that truck. It's only getting worse. If you look at the estimates from a few years back to what it is now, it's gone up considerable. At some point, you're fighting one way or another. So I would personally rather see you put a little maintenance into it, keep that truck, expend it, you know, get it so we can make it go more. Mechanically, it's decent, we keep up with all the maintenance. The issue is the paint coming off the truck. It's coming off in places that I know you didn't see. It's starting on the hood, it's starting on the doors, some of the spots, and not that they're huge spots, but we all live in Langland, we know how salt is, we know how rust is. You have a spot this big right now that's down to bare metal and actually has rust on it. In another year and a half, that could be a rot hole. Now you're talking a door. So you've gone from painting a truck to replacing body parts. Personally, I wouldn't put anything in the capital reserve, put some money to paint that truck, and then put a smaller amount in the following year to your capital reserve, because you're extending the life of that truck by taking care of an issue now. That's my opinion.
wait, you wanna
Hold on,
do,
we got someone here who wants to talk.
Yeah,
Ralph?
where do you get the life expectancy on that truck?
That was decided by our recycling committee when we did it to the town, was for 20 years.
What's the mileage on it?
85,000.
85,000. That truck, there's no reason that truck won't go 1,000,000 miles. No reason at all, properly maintained. Now, Bob Sally's truck got 1.3 million on it. I mean, that's really nothing if you take care of him. I don't know what he does to his body and whatnot, but it's easy enough to find out. And a door is a hell of a lot cheaper than a new truck. If the power plant is fine,
Yep.
and the frame is fine, there's no need to buy a new truck.
I don't disagree with what you're saying.
okay, as far as, in response to Woody trying to maintain it and paint it, we don't have any objection to that. He has a budget of $8,500 for equipment maintenance, but he came to us and he wanted somewhere between 18,000 and 20,000, cause he wanted to do an whatever you call it, off-body restoration.
It's
He
not
wanted
an
to-
off-body restoration.
You wanted to repaint all the frame,
Do the whole truck and be
Right.
done with it. And
Right.
extend the life of that truck. You do what you wanna do, but I'm just telling you right now, there's rot started on that truck, and at some point, you're gonna have to adjust it. It's not gonna get better, it's gonna get worse.
It's not saying we can't take it to a body shop and actually have those
That-
spots taken care of.
That's where I took it to. I took it to a body shop,
I'm not
and I
talking
told
full
them,
blown paint job,
wait a
I
minute,
was
wait a
talking.
minute, let me listen to how they came up with that number. When I took it to the body shop, I said, look, give me an estimate. The reason you can't, if he gives me an exact number, okay, say if the job is $16,000, okay, exact, that's what he's gonna do for it. You're gonna put it out to bid, okay? 3 other people are gonna bid and go, oh, he bid at 16,000, we're gonna do it for less. That's not fair to the guy who gave you a bid. This is an estimate, I asked for an estimate, and that's what they gave me.
That's fine.
18-foot, I don't know, but I'm just saying, if you don't take care of that thing, and I don't disagree with Ralph, you can find it hard to believe, I don't disagree with the truck, I think there's a lot of life in that truck, but if we don't take care of it,
Yep.
you're not gonna get the life out of that truck. It doesn't sit in a heated building, it sits outside in the elements. I mean, the mechanical stuff, we have a guy who comes in on site, if it needs something, it's taken care of, the oil's done twice a year in it, we don't put 500 hours on it, the oil's done twice a year in it, it's greased, everything's done to it. The issue is starting to come with the body, and it's not gonna be long, that body's gonna be an issue, the cab is gonna be an issue.
Just,
Didn't we just, how long ago did we paint part, we painted part of that?
It
didn't we?
was painted, parts of it, one was right after it was bought, cause it was a year, it was just out of a year old, cause I called Mac themselves and they said,
So we had problems from the get-go,
problems from the get-go.
and then when you did it again?
There was another small section that did it again, yeah, a small section.
Now, was
as
that
well.
frame or was that the body?
We had some done, I remember we did have some work done on the frame, we had some rust on the frame, we had that cleaned up.
Oh, so they weren't a complete job,
No.
it wasn't stripped right down and done over?
I don't believe it was, I'd have to look at the note on it, Jeff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's okay, continue on.
Such thing.
You got till 3 AM.
Do the 4 inches.
What did we just accomplish here?
Well, originally I was gonna, well, see, but.
Based on what Woody was saying and Ralph's saying, if you eliminated, Article 14, we're saving 10 cents on the tax rate. Wait a second,
No, there's too many people talking, I can't hear you.
I'm saying, if you eliminated Article 14, now you're saving 10 cents on the tax rate, correct? Based on what Woody's saying, that what the truck can be refurbished for, is not the cheapest way to go, but the problem I have with going out to bid is that one guy was gonna give you a price to do it this way. The other guy's gonna give you a price, but how do you know you're gonna get apples to apples? Or-
That's how you write
You
the,
have to be
you
very
gotta
specific
you gotta
in
write
your
the bid
RFP.
that way,
Yeah.
you know, so that everybody bids the exact same thing.
But based on what Woody was saying, is not to recommend the way we should go? And you wouldn't have to put the 31,000 in there?
No, still gotta put something in the capital reserve, if we're gonna take start saving for eventually a new truck.
Right, he said, well, you could start doing that next year, cause this truck's gonna last long if you maintain it and taking care of it.
No, I wasn't asking to eliminate this warrant article.
No, but that's what I'm
All
questioning.
I was
Yeah.
verifying
Do it.
with Woody,
Yep,
that when he came to the selectmen, he said, my truck is 10 years old, it has a 20-year lifespan, so in 10 years, I'm gonna have to replace it. I estimate that it's gonna cost
Right.
200,000, so I'd like a CRF established
right,
for 10 years at $20,000 a year.
right, I understand that.
Okay, and my objection right now is, they're increasing it from 20,000 to 31,000, so now they're saying, well, instead of 10 years, they wanna buy a new one for 8
Yeah,
years.
but I understand that, if you're not listening to what
Okay,
I'm
well, I
saying.
am, but you're saying eliminate this, I
No,
never
no.
asked to eliminate the 31,000.
What I'm saying is, from what I understand is if you don't maintain the truck, it's gonna be another 8 to 10 years, you need a truck.
Yep.
Okay, if you maintain that truck, fix the rust, whatever has to be done, you're extending that, say, another 15 years, okay? So you wouldn't need this based on
Right.
maintaining the truck and get it up to shape,
Okay,
that's what I'm saying.
okay,
And you could,
I'm
next
not-
year, you could take that account that you have right now, go to the floor, change the verbiage in it, and now you have $30,000 in that account,
Yeah.
and it didn't cost the taxpayers anything to change that verbiage, and you have 30,000 in it.
So, Brian,
Is that what you said you were gonna do, correct?
Hold on there. Good.
so, I'm listening to all this and he can get it fixed for, say, 16,000. We're gonna give him 31,000 to buy a new truck. So if we give him the 31,000 to buy the new truck, we don't give him any money to fix the truck. We're screwing ourselves.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Makes more sense to fix the truck.
There's nothing saying that you can't fix the truck, I mean, with, you know, cause he has money in his budget to take in for equipment repairs.
Well, you're right, now I understand
It's
that.
not gonna be a full blown
I'm not
brand new
knowing-
paint job is what we're talking about.
Well, I'm not knowing how much other equipment he has to repair.
Well, I mean, like replacing a door, I mean, a door is not gonna cost you that, you know, probably $1,500 max. You know,
Right, right.
taking-
I'm just going by the number he
Right.
threw out there,
So, I mean, if you got
16,000.
rust on the door, I mean, you can fix the door as it is, or even if you put
Yeah,
a new one on,
right.
it's still gonna,
I'm just going by the number he
Yeah,
gave
well,
us.
Yeah,
okay,
I
well,
understand.
but the numbers we got on the quote was 18 to 20,000.
To repair it.
That's what the quote said.
yeah, well, that's, you know, taking all the subframes and everything off,
Right,
the
well,
way it read.
right.
So,
And
I mean,
that's
just some of the
kinda
truck.
like what we objected to, and I'm not gonna try and throw Brian under the bus, but he's been a mechanic all his life. I went to look at the truck with Woody, we walked around the truck, he showed me different things. I've never had anything to do with repairing cars or trucks or anything, so he could've told me anything. I said, oh yeah, I could see a little rust spot here, and this is what his plan was. Brian went and looked at the truck, and I'm not gonna put any words in his mouth, but he came back and he said, I don't think we need a restoration.
I don't think so.
There are things that can be done, that
Okay.
should be done,
Mhm.
Alright,
but he
so-
didn't think we needed to spend
alright, so-
$18,000.
It can be repaired,
Absolutely can be repaired.
and we don't have to throw $31,000 at it right now, if he's talking that it can actually go for 15 years or
Mhm.
whatever. Plus, when the truck is done, I bet you there's money there sitting there, you're gonna get something for it,
Right, absolutely.
right?
I mean, Woody's done, I'll give credit where credit's due, and I think Woody's done a great job keeping the truck up.
Yeah, I saw him washing it the other day, and I was
And I hope
looking
he
at it, it looks
continues doing
beautiful.
that, because he's doing a great job with
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
You know, give him credit.
I'm just
But I
saying,
just-
if it needs to be fixed, I guess that's what we gotta do first.
I mean, there's stuff that needs to be fixed. I mean, I did notice some stuff, but I mean,
Yeah.
you know, not to the point where we need to take the whole subframe and the whole lifting, mechanism and everything, strip it off and sandblast the whole frame and repaint and, I mean, that's an involved process. I mean, that's, in essence, when you're sandblasting down the frame and everything
Yeah.
and all that, it's almost like a full restoration
So
of
maybe
sorts.
you're talking like doing what really needs to be done
Yes.
now.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, keep it, you know, we do that with the state. We do what we need to do to keep it going and keep it in prime
Yeah,
shape.
no, I understand, really, I mean,
Yeah,
it's a costly
Yeah.
piece of equipment, you wanna
Yeah.
make sure you maintain that.
Before a town meeting, it might be helpful to know if, I don't know if we can contact Waste Management or something, and see what the life expectancy is on a truck that runs 6 days a week. What is that life expectancy, exposed to the elements, you know, road salt and whatnot, 6 days a week, running hard, you know, 10 hours a day or whatever they run?
Well, you bring up a good point, that, the whole point of the capital improvements plan, committee that we have together, we did an addendum to the one we did last year and, you know, updated, but one of our charges is also to take and create a vehicle acquisition plan. So we're gonna take those kind of things into consideration, you know, the years, the mileage, the hours, life expectancy, all that sort of thing, and try to create a plan so we can actually start getting a handle on this equipment, whether it's the fire department, transfer station, police department, whomever. So that way we can map it out here, so we're not having these huge spikes or, you know, 5 vehicles here and, you know, no vehicles here, you know, try to. And
It
also at the
just-
same time, also put the money aside, so when the vehicle is done for us, we have the money in the bank to just buy it outright, so we don't have to sit there and have to do lease purchase and all that extra, pay extra interest and all that stuff, that's just gonna cost taxpayers more money.
It's just disconcerting to me that you would wanna look at a new vehicle that has less than 200,000 miles.
Yeah.
We got about 85 now, you're gonna have less than I don't expect you're gonna do a lot more mileage in the next 10 years.
Oh, and we're doing less miles now because we're going to boat, right?
Yeah, so I mean, you're gonna have a vehicle that's less than 200,000 miles, it should go 1,000,000 miles.
So,
I mean, worst comes to worst, I mean, you could put an entire new cab on it.
yeah, actually, yeah, cab probably would be less, about 20 grand. A whole new cab. Right now.
Have you got any prices on full restoration of that truck?
Yeah,
Or no?
should,
That's what Woody drive.
Yeah.
That wasn't a
18
full-
to 20,000.
Was that a full that one a
That
full
was to
restor-
do the frame, sandblast the frame, paint the frame, they gotta take the arms on the, cover system off, those are caked to rust, sandblast those, paint those, do the cab. It's the same, I got a price from Arch, the same company, they do Capital Wells trucks, I seen some of their work, they do a really good job.
Okay, and if you do that,
Yeah,
how long do you expect that truck
I
to
would
last?
just consider keep running the truck as long as we can,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't,
I think that's
I'm not
I think that's a
looking at-
no-brainer, ain't it?
originally, when this was brought to the town to purchase that truck, we gave them a rough time frame. We said 20 years. That's what it was based off,
Yeah,
went
what
off
was
20
it?
years.
Well, we were putting 10,000 miles a year on it.
Back
I mean,
then, we were
weren't
putting 10,000,
Yeah,
now, things have changed. In 3 years, if we, depending on what happens in the contract, we could be traveling forever, so I don't know. I mean, I get what you're saying, Ted, things change. Like, you know, 20,000 here, 30,000 now, costs are gonna go up, that truck is, when it comes time to replace it, it's never gonna be the $200,000. It's just like John tells you with the fire truck, yeah, today it might be 400,000. When he gets ready to replace it, that truck could be $500,000 or $600,000, we don't know. You know, they come out with new emissions, all this stuff, jacks the price of the truck up. Just trying to give you an idea of what it's gonna cost, we don't have numbers that we,
Right,
Right
right,
there.
but that's not the argument. The argument isn't whether the truck is gonna cost more or not. The argument is, the CRF went from a 10-year CRF to an 8-year CRF. That's the argument I'm
All right.
making.
Yeah, but the
Okay.
problem is, Ted, like fire truck, we plugged the numbers in, I'm on the CIP. Like Woody said, 2 years ago, they didn't start funding, so now you're down to 8 years. So when you plug the numbers into the CIP, that's when it kicks up.
No, 2 years ago, we did start funding it. It was gonna be a 10-year CRF. It started 2 years ago, it should be going for another 8 years, not just another 6
Yeah,
years.
so we put 10 in last year, cause you made a motion on the floor to reduce it from 20 to 10.
Yeah.
Right, we also.
So we should've had 40,000 in it right now, this year. So, But
When
I'm
you
here-
do the figures in the CIP, from one estimated replacement of that truck to how much money is needed, that's how you come up with this figure.
unless I hear something new from anybody, John's gonna be the last one to speak on this issue, because we seem to be going on a circular
Sounds good
motion,
to
I
me.
wanna move on, it's getting late,
Yeah, really fast.
okay? Anything new regarding the Article 14? Alright, here none, we're gonna go to Article 15. To see if the town will vote and raise and appropriate the sum of $10,068 for the milfoil control at Gorham Pond, and to authorize the selectmen to accept a grant from the state of New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services in the amount of $4,027, known as the variable milfoil control grant. The balance of $6,041 to come from taxes. It's the same one we've had.
I thought, we started this whole thing out years ago, and we killed the milfoil on it, and then we got into supposedly quote-unquote maintenance mode, which was gonna be really cheap. How the hell we go from there back to 10,000 now, from maintenance mode to this massive expenditure?
No, that was the question I asked.
That was a question we all had the other night.
Cause last year, they asked for $4,500.
Yeah, and they said it's almost all gone, we're gonna get some divers and some volunteers, and we're gonna wipe it all out, there's very little left from the inspection. Now we're back to more than we spent
I think
originally.
part of the answer is the fact that the DES gives us a grant, and it's a 40-60 match. So if they give us $1,000, then we have to take and do the math and get the 60, that sort of thing.
They worked
This
the
year they gave
jackets.
us 4,000, which is more than they gave us last year, so obviously, that's the more they give us, the more we have to raise to have that 60-40 match.
Can I just speak on it,
Sure.
because they're not here to
Yeah.
speak on it, but last year they got the application, the whole permit, and all the notices out late. So they only had time to budget and calculate for a short number of dives. They budgeted 5 dives last year, and they ran out of time to use all those dives. This year, this number calculates, did you say 12 dives?
12 dives.
12 dives.
In the
So,
wrong business.
Yeah.
I mean, they may not use
need to
all
go
the
renew my
dives, but that's
certificate.
what they're anticipating starting spring through December.
Yeah, they also have a new contractor this year
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
It's not the same contractor.
Different dive team.
12 dives.
So where are they at this point with this
It's
project?
still maintenance mode, that's what we were told,
Yeah,
like
it's
2 or 3
maintenance
years ago.
still.
Yeah,
So how long is maintenance?
It's
Maintenance
always
forever?
gonna be, it's
You never
always
get
gonna
rid of
be a
milfoil.
maintenance.
Milfoil
But
is
it sh-
always gonna be
But
there.
it should be down
constant
to a
level.
certain level.
Yeah, I mean,
I know after the season, they came in and they told us that all they found were a few, sprouts, whatever it
Yeah,
is.
because they gave us a report.
And it was very little, the
Yeah.
pond itself was clean, but you have to maintain that, you have to go back and say, and find out where those little sprouts are and pull them out before they expand.
right,
But I mean, they did that with the $4,500, and I told Lou is his name, the
Right.
guy that's in charge. I told him, I said, I hope you can answer why you've gone from 4,500 to 10,000, cause I'm sure that question's gonna come up.
It came up here, because we're all like,
I know, Lou comes back every year with the same stuff, and
Yeah.
I remember when this first topic first came up, the lake is about to be swallowed up by milfoil, we need like 10 grand to fix it. We gave them 10 grand, they fixed it, it went to maintenance mode, oh, we only need 5 now. And then it went down even last year, oh, we only need 2, cause there's just, like you said, the reports were, it's pretty clean. From this point forward, it'll be easy to maintain this at like $2,500 a year. Now all of a sudden, we got 4 times as much, like, what?
I mean,
Well,
the
these
math
programs
was-
are designed to keep you in them, not to let you out.
Well, we knew it was gonna be
Because if you get out, then you're out of queue for the grant money.
right,
So then you gotta fight your way back in. So these programs aren't designed to let you out.
yeah, but look at it this way, $10,000, I gotta spend 6 to get 4. Why don't I just give them 4, and I'm out of pocket for the whole thing, who cares about the grant, I'm still cheaper off than I am for this.
Well, that's, I mean, they're anticipating 12 dies will come to 10 grand, so I don't know if they're gonna need 10 or not.
I don't understand.
Why do we need so many
I
guys
don't
when
disagree
last
what
year,
you're saying, Ron.
the inspection report was, like Ted said, we
Right.
got a few stragglers, we need to go clean up a certain area, and we're done.
Yep.
And then next year, we
I
go
don't
clean up a
disagree
few
with
more
you.
stragglers, and then
My
we
suspicion
stay
is
on
that
top of it as opposed
They
to.
backfit everything into whatever the grant is. If they got 10 towns and they divvy it up,
Yep.
Okay.
then they
Well,
work,
that's-
they work the numbers from the bottom up.
That's exactly
Exactly,
how it works.
that's what our opinion is.
They get so much money from the state, and then they find out how many towns want money to clean up their ponds or lakes, and they divvy it up. And this year, we ended up with 4,000, so if we want that 4,000, we have to spend 6,000.
Can we tell them we only want 2?
We can tell them anything we want, I'm
Whether
just
we'll
saying.
get it or not, I don't know.
What?
I said whether we'll get it or not, I don't know, but.
No.
I mean, like.
Chalk
it can
this
be-
one out,
It can be modified on the floor easily enough.
it will be.
What's going on in like Kimball Pond and
They
whatnot?
went and looked at all the other ponds, and they said that they didn't find any real
It was
for it.
like a year or two ago, 2 years?
Last
No,
year,
last year,
last year.
Yep.
They went Long
Yeah, they've been
Pond,
cleaning.
Kimball
So
Pond.
it's not like that, it's not like they can use some here and go somewhere else or
no, this
whatever,
one's specifically written for more,
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
right?
the
So
only
they-
one,
even if you wanted to, you couldn't go to another pond with it.
correct.
right.
right?
Yeah, unless you modified it.
Yep.
Yeah, this is way overkill.
I hear what you're saying, Ron.
Champion that, would you?
Granted, it's only 2 cents, you know, compared to some of these other warrant articles, but then again,
There we go.
Just 2 cents, 2 cents.
The point of it all.
every 2 cents.
Alrighty, I'm
counts.
not hearing anything new, let's go to 16 then. This year the town will vote and raise the appropriate sum of $98.60 to fund a position of deputy town clerk by petition. Are we doing this one next week too?
No.
Oh, okay, so
Right here.
we're covering this one. This is just a simple petition article to, vote and raise and appropriate the sum of $98,800. Sorry. It's been a long day, it's been a long day. Lucky I'm seeing one number, not 5. Long story short, the town clerk came to us asking for more money for the deputy town clerk position. We felt that, you know, looking at other towns and their numbers regarding the position of town clerk and hours and such, that it was, you know, a window clerk to cover vacations and sick time would be adequate. We just, you know, again, I think Chuck, you brought up, we don't have any commercial, we're all residential, it's just simple. We've also gone to E-Reg now, it's on the, online, so, and it's actually being used, so, I mean, the more E-Reg is getting used, the less there's gonna be foot traffic in here and such. So, all things being what they are, that's, and this is a petition, warrant article, so, you know, it can go up or down. Chuck?
Now, has there been any thought about combining the town clerk's office and the tax collector's office? I mean, that would give you 5 days a week, it'd give you a whole bunch of extra hours for a second person. I mean, it would be, just to spend almost $17,000 just to collect taxes, when everything's pretty much automated now, isn't it? Tax bills go out right from a computer.
A little bit more.
No, I do the warrant and the assessing side of it, and I post the tax warrant. She prints the tax bills and I do the other sides, there's a separation. And then she's gotta manually stuff all those bills, everything. It's,
It's not, it's automated.
But still, I mean, most towns our size don't have separate,
They're combined.
don't have
You would-
separate.
The only
town
way you
clerk
could do
and-
what you're talking about is through a warrant article.
yeah,
You would have to put in a warrant article to combine the 2 positions.
Yeah, but I
And
just
it would
thought,
only,
I-
it would only happen when one of them was up for reelection.
and can I just speak on that too, as an elected official, they set their hours.
Mhm.
The selectmen do not
Right.
have.
The tax
control.
collector does.
Tax
No.
collector and.
Or
Town
both,
clerk
yes,
too, they're
both
both elected.
elected officials set, so if you combine the two and she says, I only wanna work 3 days, then you have to wait until a term
well,
comes up
she's
to vote
elected
her out,
too, ain't
because,
she?
pardon?
She's elected too, ain't she? If
That's
she's not
right,
doing
that's
that,
right, that's
she
the
might
way
not
to-
get elected.
To change things, but for you to say, we can get them there 5 days a week, the selectmen can't do that.
We have
They
no
can say
control.
she's today cut or funding for a
That's
deputy
0.
to
No,
force her into the office, but that's the, that's the bottom line, that's all they can do is, that we're not gonna fund your deputy, so that she has to be here to serve the public.
Okay, the other thing is,
Ralph had his hand up.
No, my question was a little bit off topic, we got off a little bit, so it doesn't
Okay.
pertain to this.
Anybody else got a question?
Yeah,
Woody?
what is,
Oh, sorry, Brian.
oh,
Ladies first.
how many hours a week is that 9860? That she requested,
I think it was 15 hours a week.
Yeah,
15 hours a week?
Yeah,
Oh,
and that's funded only for this
Alright, well, I'm gonna go back to Woody, cause he one
half a
question.
year.
You
Woody?
made a reference to a window clerk, what's that? What do they do?
They do everything but what a deputy can't do, like vital statistics and marriage licenses and stuff like that. You know, that you have to be, a town clerk.
But they can
You
do
have
a
to
license.
be-
And you
Well, they
have-
can do motor vehicle
Motor
registrations,
vehicles,
dogs.
deputy town clerk has to reside in town, you have to be in the capacity of the town clerk. A window clerk can have a title of a town clerk in another town, but she's not acting as a town clerk, she's acting as a window
And we've
clerk.
used them before here.
I didn't know what it was, that's what I was asking.
Ralph?
so, the thing that bothers me about this too is that if Linda had come to the town meeting, to the town, when she got her position, went from a part-time position to a full-time position, if she'd have come to the town and said, I wanna go from 15 hours a week to 55 hours a week, she'd still be a part-timer.
Hmm?
If she'd have asked
Right.
for 55 hours a week,
Mhm.
when she first got her town position, or her full-time position,
Yeah.
that never would have passed. No one would have said, you're going from 15 to 55? No, that's not gonna happen. The first year, she didn't get it. The second year, she did get it.
Yeah, she went to 40 hours.
She went to 40 hours, but you're adding another 15 hours, and she had 15 hours added to her
Mhm.
from a previous select board.
Yeah,
So, to my way of thinking, you've increased the hours available to the public.
No, we haven't
By-
increased any hours, it's all on her.
Well, she's increased the hours available to the public by 2. But she's increased the pay
Mhm.
by almost 4-fold. So that, to me, that just doesn't jive, it doesn't warrant it.
okay, the two things I wanted to say was, number one, this is a petition warrant article, so
Right.
we have to put it on the warrant.
I
We
understand,
have no
but
choice.
this is our comment period,
Okay.
so that's my comment.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify, and the other thing I wanna clarify is, by law, the town, even if the town voted for this, they cannot force the selectmen to spend this money. In other words, if we didn't wanna hire another town deputy clerk, wherever she is, we wouldn't have to.
We're
It's
not
not like a
So
position.
that's just
it's
to
an,
clarify
no, it's
two
an
things.
appointed
appointed.
advisory.
This is
board.
one of those things that you can't force the selectmen to do, okay?
My,
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, my comment is I happen to live with one of the
Right.
ex-deputy town clerks, so, she's aware of how many hours would be needed to properly train a person, and it's nowhere near 15 hours a week, as Linda had stated, that she needs 15 hours a week. And, she said that as long as the deputy is there for a few hours on the 2 busiest nights of the week, they would learn almost everything, you know, that they would need to know. And, Linda had Darlene working Monday and Wednesday mornings when there was hardly anybody coming in.
And she was by herself.
And she was by herself, Linda wasn't even in the office. So, that's my whole thing with putting 15 hours in, but, you know, I'll talk about it at the town meeting, so that's not
I
a
hear
problem.
exactly what you're saying, and I think you probably understand where we're
I
coming
mean,
from.
I think, we do need coverage for her to take vacation, she deserves her full vacation every year. So
Absolutely.
the town does need some kind of coverage, rather than closing the
That's
office,
why we put $2,000 in our budget for
but,
that.
yeah.
It's a budget item.
No, we definitely agree, I mean, she doesn't have to work here, 52 weeks a year, I mean, she's entitled to vacation time. Well, she sets her own hours, whether she works 1 hour or she works 100 hours, that's entirely up to her, we have no control. The only control we have is the money.
If this position is approved, can you set the hours for this person?
No, it's, the way the RSA reads, it's a recommended or nominated position by the town clerk with approval of the board of selectmen, because they become an employee. So we have to actually do the hiring, but we don't have any control over that position once it's under the purview of the town clerk.
Even as an employee? It's
it's
not
an employee.
elected, it's an employee.
Right, it's an appointed actually, technically, appointed, yeah, but it's under their purview. That's what, yeah, it's one of those squirrely things, it's not 100% in our realm, and it's not 100% in her realm, we have to share that.
So Brian, this will be 9,000 in addition to the 2,000 you've already got in the budget.
If we agreed,
Mhm.
if the town passes this and we decide to fund it, the deputy town clerk will be funded from this warrant article.
So the 2,000 here goes away?
2,000, yeah, it would not be an additional.
That's.
We put in
I don't know.
we put in the 2,000 in the budget
Mhm.
in case this is defeated, or in case we decide not to hire
There's
a
nothing that
deputy.
explicitly states
So we would
that.
still have money in the budget for window clerk.
Well, I understand where Ron's coming from, cause that's not, I don't necessarily 100% agree with what you just said, cause if this passes and we fund it, 98 grand, and 9,800 goes in there, we have the 2,000 already in the budget.
So now you got 11.
And the budget already got passed, that 2,000's there, it's a different line item, and if we only say we're gonna spend 9860, we have an extra 2,000 that's there, we can,
Right.
of course, we can move it anywhere we
Yeah,
want.
'cause in the budget is $2,000 as deputy town clerk.
Right, if that passes, the Article 3 passes the way it is, that 2,000 is there, and if we pass this one and we do decide to say, okay, we'll take it, then, there's extra money there.
You got
But if
11.
you do
Yeah, well-
decide, it's up to you if you decide to do this or not, right?
Right.
So if you do decide, can't you say you're gonna do it, but you're gonna do it for 7,800 and take the other 2,000 and put it towards it?
Yeah, we could, I mean, this is all.
So, so you're not gonna end up with the extra 2,000 there.
Well, we're gonna end up with extra 2,000 somewhere then, because that money's already been raised and appropriated in Article 3, if in Article,
Yeah, right, it's
whereas
re- but,
16 passes. we
but
have
if it
that-
passes, you don't even have to spend any money.
That's right.
So that's my point, so you could actually spend
You
it,
don't have to
right,
spend
that's
it.
We
my
don't have
point.
to spend it, but it's.
So if you wanted to, you could just bring it down to minus 2,000 and take the 2,000 out of the other line and
Mhm.
have that 9,000.
Yeah, we could move it around however we need
Right,
to.
so
do
you
that.
wouldn't end up with the extra 2,000 as well.
You could amend this on the floor.
Well, no, but I mean, they have the right to say nothing or something.
Right, I mean, the 2,000 would be in the budget, and we can move it anywhere or leave it in that line item.
Right.
It's.
But I mean, even this,
It's a moot point,
even
really.
this petition warrant article, you can do whatever you want with.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's my point. So you still can end up with the same exact number without the 2,000.
yep,
So your point earlier was even if the town votes to adopt this, you guys can still say, not gonna do it.
yeah,
Okay.
We've had legal opinions say that we're not obligated.
it's advisory only.
Any more on 16? Anything new?
No.
17. See if the town will vote and raise appropriate sum of $101,894 to purchase breathing apparatus for the volunteer fire department. Furthermore, to withdraw $4,852 from the fire department special revenue fund established for this purpose. And to authorize the board of selectmen to accept a federal grant of $97,042, for this purpose. This article is contingent upon the receipt of the grant. No amount to be raised from taxation. This article is non-lapsant and will not lapse until the equipment is purchased or December 31st, 2021, whichever comes first. $0 impact.
I like it.
I like it when you do these, John, I've seen you do these before, that's pretty cool.
This,
Fortunately, it's a competitive bid process and, not guarantee you'll get it, but if you remember, just 2 years ago, we tried to do one with our neighboring towns and that one got defeated, so we've gone out on our own, tried to do it again. It's a process, Tammy did a lot of work writing it, but, you can see breathing apparatus is extremely expensive. The current breathing apparatus we have, we got through 2 separate grants, and it's getting towards the end of its life cycle, 15 years, but we've got a couple of years to play with, so, we'll just keep putting in grants, hopefully,
Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
hopefully we can, because that's a lot of, I know it's a lot of money to ask for
Yeah.
to get the breathing apparatus.
we did look into the warrant we wrote in 2014,
Yeah,
because this
unfortunately,
isn't lapsing, but she said because it's a different dollar amount,
it's exactly the same wording
goes-
as we did 2 years ago,
the other
but
one
because we
goes
changed the
away, we
numbers,
have to rewrite it.
you had to do it, ask for it again.
Can you do that with the truck, John?
Get a grant?
Yeah, close enough, already, Try it.
You good?
Definitely.
Absolutely. Any more discussion on Article 17? Hearing none, we'll go to 18. To see if the town will vote and establish a cemetery expendable trust fund per RSA 31:19-A for the maintenance and upkeep of town cemeteries, and to appoint cemetery trustees as agents to expend, and further to authorize a transfer of cemetery lot funds received for the sale of said lots to be added to the fund per RSA 289:2-A. Said authority will remain until such time as rescinded. Basically, what drove this is perpetual care. Is a trustees of trust fund, and as Fred alluded to much earlier, we get zero on interest for the most part. I mean, it's like $12, right?
Yeah, something like that,
I think if we're lucky.
yeah.
And
Cost you more for postage.
actually, you're the chair.
That's okay,
Take
you're
this
doing a
one.
fine job, I'm napping over here.
I'll let you take this one. I'll take a nap for a change,
Alright,
if you don't
that's
mind.
fine. No, that's fine. So, to follow up on that,
Head's
you know,
hurting.
the perpetual care money goes into the trust fund and we don't get squat for it. We can't use that money to maintain the cemetery. So what we'd like to do is consolidate all of that into the sale of the cemetery plot, and then allow the cemetery to have that money in a revolving fund, and the expendable fund for the maintenance of the cemetery. So at least that way that we can, you know, use the small amount of money that we do collect can be used, you know, to maintain the cemeteries, instead of sitting in a bank account somewhere that gets pretty close to a zero interest rate.
And hopefully use less taxes eventually.
Right.
That's the goal. Kinda like the recreation committee fund, you know, where they put money into it and it's supposed to help be self-perpetuating eventually if we sell enough lots and, you know, we can do it right. It won't be self-perpetuating, but it will be a sizable amount.
Yeah, and you know, we don't sell many lots a year typically, but, you know, every little bit helps.
But we're not getting any younger, so we're gonna be selling
No,
more.
the town is getting older. So, yeah,
Can't you just change the appropriation of the existing fund, reword it, you know, do something, cause my understanding, if I recall from the trust fund committee, there's 2 trust funds for the cemeteries.
yeah,
Right.
we looked at that.
It's a charitable trust, it can't be broken, it's
Yeah.
almost like.
One of them can't, but there's also a second fund that we were putting new monies into and you were getting the interest out of.
Yeah, and I understand.
That's the one I'm wondering if that one can be, the other one is like for lots from a long time ago and it's a
Right.
fund that's basically locked up, you can't touch that.
And we're under the impression that the other one is too.
Yeah, cause when we approached the state for some guidance on this,
Yeah.
Yeah, Terry Knowles was pretty
Yeah.
adamant about that.
they
Okay,
directed us in this direction,
okay.
because, you know, the courts typically say no.
It's a petition side pray,
Yeah,
Right.
And it's
petition
very
side pray, right.
complicated.
But it only takes out the interest and, you know, excess interest, the
Right.
actual principal still stays and
Still
that's fine,
stays,
it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah,
So,
so we looked at it, but it would have probably cost us more than we would have gained.
Okay.
It wasn't to our advantage at all.
well, that's the whole purpose of 18. Any more discussion on 18? Hearing none. 19. See if the town of Dunbarton will vote to, this is the trustee trust fund, by the way, to see if vote pursuant to RSA 35:9-A, Roman numeral 2, which became effective July 26, 2014, to authorize the trustees of trust funds without further action of the town need to charge any expenses incurred for professional banking or brokerage assistance or capital reserve funds in their custody as authorized by RSA chapter 35. Against the capital reserve funds involved, such authority to remain in effect until rescinded by a vote of the town meeting, which said vote to rescind such authority shall not occur within 5 years of the adoption of this article. Majority vote. So,
Why 5 years?
I think they wanna, you know,
Test it out.
test it out, I mean, cause with anything with finances,
Get it rolling.
it's like the stock market, they say leave it in.
Yeah, you
know,
gotta let it roll for a
Let it
while.
roll a little bit, yeah, cause I mean, you do it 1 year and all of a sudden something, you know,
Yeah, right,
it goes,
you can't get a true
it feel.
idea of it, yeah.
Right, you know, stock market goes in the crapper and it's not our
Okay.
fault and all of a sudden, you know, like, yeah.
Yep.
So they put that, like a time frame in there just to give you, you know, some time to see how it's gonna
Yeah,
work.
yeah.
So basically, gives them the opportunity to take and actually pay for some, legal, you know, some assistance as far as investment and such
Options, yeah.
options. Hopefully get better interest rates.
Yeah.
Any discussion? Hearing none, going to 20. See if the town will vote to exclude all funds from unassigned general fund balance, AKA surplus, for the purpose of passage of all future warrant articles. This policy to remain effective until rescinded by the legislative body. Petition warrant article, this one we're gonna talk about tonight too, right?
Yeah.
We've had legal look at this for us, because, you know, especially all the petition articles, and they've come back and said that this is, can be only advisory only if it passes. It is not binding on the selectmen, it has no authority on us. Because you can't take it away from an RSA that gives us the authority. Pardon me, so, but.
I don't understand that. If the
Yeah.
legislative body,
Right.
the voters,
Mhm.
vote on something,
Yep.
then basically they're making local law.
Yep.
How can you ignore that local law?
It's not a home rule.
It's not a home rule state.
You, to do something, you have to find a statute somewheres that the legislator, the state legislator authorized the town to do,
Or not do, for that matter.
or not do. Yeah, and I don't know too many not do, but mostly is do. You have to go in the RSA's and say, yeah, this RSA gives us the authority to do this. And there's no RSA that gives the legislative body the authority to tell the selectmen that they have to do this. I mean, they give the selectmen a wide latitude, and, you know, we're supposed to be, running the prudential affairs of the town,
Fiduciary responsibility. In essence, what it boils down to is that it's, they call it a non-binding or non-legal vote for the selectmen. The RSA gives us certain authorities as selectmen, and this here would take and bind us, in which it cannot do, because the legislative body does not have the authority to bind the selectmen and override what the RSA gives us the authority to do. That's why it is what it is. I mean, I understand exactly what you're trying to do, Ralph.
Well, I
and
put it in,
appreciate that.
and I appreciate you guys have done this already for the past 2 years.
Yep.
So, and I appreciate that, but didn't mean that the future board wouldn't go back to the way things used to be.
We can't.
And that was my, I mean, we've had discussion at town meeting about how do these warrant articles get decided on, whether they're gonna be funded through the raising of taxes or from surplus. And I think it was Ted said, politics.
Yeah, it is.
Well, you know, I don't wanna see that. I mean, a warrant article should stand or fall on its own merits.
No argument here from us.
No, but Ted's right for what the legislative.
I understand that now, but it just, so the only way to do that is to call up, your local representative or whatnot and have them pass a law, right, start a,
That's right, yeah.
okay,
That's
Yeah.
part,
All right.
that's part and parcel of it.
Have them put a bill in the hopper.
okay,
So, but I mean, you know, we understand what you're trying to say and everything, but it's
Yeah.
advisory only,
I got you.
okay? Alright, number 21. To see if the town will vote to have the selectmen provide within 60 days of, and easily located link on the town website for quick
That
access.
should be and,
Yeah.
not and.
No,
No,
read it
and.
again, and it's
Should
and,
not
and that's the way it was,
And.
Within
No.
60 days.
and easily locate,
Right,
link.
And easily
That's the way it
located,
was
no, it
written.
says located.
Well, it should be and.
and easily located.
And
Yeah.
easily located.
I agree, that's the way I
But-
originally,
Well, this is, it's typed up the way it came in, right?
petition,
It's
yes.
a petition, so we can't really change it, but it's grammatical, so I think we
Yeah,
can.
we can change it, as long as we don't change the meaning.
Right. So,
Okay, we'll fix that.
Yeah.
Alright, go ahead.
and easily located link on the town website for quick access to videotape selectmen's messages, meetings, excuse me, with the disclaimers as necessary. Videotaping is being done by volunteers and posted uncut on YouTube and Facebook. Petition warrant article.
I think it's a good idea, cause I was informed about it by Leo, I think at the transfer station, and when I went to go find them, I only found 12 videos, and they were later one, or
Yeah,
they were like from May and June.
they're all on there.
Yeah, I couldn't, it could be easily found on the town's website, that would be much more convenient.
So,
Leo said something about there was some verbiage in it, or somebody told me there was some verbiage, specific verbiage, and it brought them all up.
But I guess that site on YouTube, yeah, brings them up.
Guys, the conversation is this
Yeah,
way, not,
sorry.
not cross, so, any more comments on that?
No.
I believe, you know, the select board's, opinion is that, you know, part and parcel of it, we don't disagree that it's not a, you know, it's not a bad idea, it's a good idea, but we wanna have some protections for the town, you know, yeah, and I think, Tom brought up a good point of making a policy, so we know where everybody stands on this, you know, so that's what I believe is our intent, is to craft a policy before we move forward with this, just so everybody's on the same page.
What protections are you speaking of?
Well, because, I mean, these are done by volunteers, and that's fine and dandy, because as a public body, anybody can videotape us or audio tape us anytime they want, as long as we're in session, or even out of session, for that matter, as long as we're on public lands. But they're not controlled by the town, you know, so we don't want them to be used as, oh, these are the official minutes of the town, you know, the town. Those are our official minutes right there that are being taken, you know, so that's what the whole idea of having a policy, so it describes what is, you know, the town's position on this. Disclaimers.
What
you
it
know,
is now is they've been doing this for a long time, they put it on YouTube, I guess.
Yeah.
Whatever that is. But now they came and
He's a
asked,
closet internet junkie.
now they came and asked us
Internet's made
to
of
put a
tubes.
link to the town website.
Right,
The official site.
We
yes.
wanna
the
make
official site.
sure that people that are looking at this on the website don't think that this is sanctioned by the town, this is done by volunteer, we just wanna make sure they
Yeah.
know
Yep.
this is not coming from the town.
Mhm.
Right now it's not anyways, sometime we probably will do.
You know, I mean.
We need disclaimers.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
according to the attorney, you have to put disclaimers,
Right.
so.
I mean, ideally, we'd love to
He's
be able to
looking
have the town
into that.
controlled, you know, as in, you know, we have our own videotaping and such like that, so, I mean, cause right now, it's on us.
Right.
Now, you guys, we're having a conversation with you folks, there's